Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul. Thanks so much for being with us. Hey, I want to start this segment by first saying that it is being sponsored by the great Patriots of X746. And here to talk a little bit about that, we have Misty, Hampton. Graham is with us. First time on the program. Misty, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, Misty, and I'm glad that you could come on, talk a little bit about the Patriots of X746, X746 in general. I'm sure many of you, I know I'm a member of the group as well. You guys want to get out there that we're a constitutional carry state, and we are able to really exercise our Second Amendment rights as was originally intended. Is that pretty accurate?
That's pretty close to it. Right now we have over 10,000 members, and most all of these are Arkansans. What we do, or our goal, is to ensure that every Arkansan has a means to defend their rights. And how we promote that is through education. We educate our neighbors, we educate ourselves, and most importantly, I think our children. I know that both of my children are members of the group, and that's all they hear me talk about is how to defend our rights. Samuel Adams said that no people will tamely surrender their liberties when knowledge is diffused and virtue is preserved. But on the contrary, when a people become universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink underneath their own weight without the threat of foreign invaders. So how I got involved in this group was a couple years ago. There was this man, and he came into the place where I work. I run a restaurant, and he was open carrying, which was no big deal to me.
Yeah. Because
my husband open carries, I open carry. I see a lot of people open carrying, and I had no problem. Ordered his food, sat down. Later on, this woman comes up, and she is just irate. She's yelling at me. She wants to know why we allow this kind of thing to go on in our establishment. There's children in here. This is a family restaurant. And I said, ma'am, you need to calm down.
Oh,
this
wow.
is not against the law. Everything he's doing perfectly legal. But it scared her children, is what she said.
Yeah.
So I told her that I would check to make sure that there was no company policy against it, which I knew there wasn't. So I went and called my boss. And he said, no, there's no company policy. Just, explain to her that if she has a problem, that she can, call the police or call the office or whatever it is she wants to do. And so when I went back up there to tell her, she was gone. So I'm thinking it's over. But then she calls my main boss, the main office, and pitches a fit there. And it finally got up to the big boss, like the big corporate office. And how it got there was an article in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette that she had written. And it was entitled, "Open Carry is Scary."
Mm-hmm.
And it basically said that I told her that I had that I was carrying a weapon underneath my apron. Just a bunch of stuff that was never even said to begin with. But that how it was scary in a family restaurant for children to see this and
to see a gun,
and
to see a weapon.
There wasn't anybody scared. I've never had a problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, did anything happen when it got up to corporate? Were you punished at all, or any consequences?
Well, I didn't know if there was going to be consequences. When it first went to the main office, they wanted me to write a statement out. So I wrote a statement, exactly what happened. I had everybody there actually write a statement because what she was saying I never said. And then when the article came out and it actually went to the big corporate office that was out of state, they wanted to know what was going on. So I sent them the statements, and I didn't get in trouble for it because I didn't do anything wrong. Well, a couple months later, that same man came in, open carrying, which still nobody has a problem with it. And I went out there and I introduced myself to him. And he said that he was a member of the Patriots Act 746. He handed me a card, and I was like, well, I didn't know anything about this act. I've never even heard of it. So he's like, join the group. And he's like, we have a meeting coming up. Come to the meeting. So I said, okay. So I joined the group, and I'm reading through this stuff. And, these people are, intelligent. They're really motivated to help people defend their rights and to get people involved. Well, I went to this meeting in Alma, and they had candidates there for local offices, state offices, and they were actually asking these people questions. They were holding them accountable. I mean, sheriffs and stuff like that. I mean, they wanted to know what they thought, what they were going to do if something like this was to happen in their county. So it got me motivated to ask my sheriff what he thought about it. In fact, I actually threw a meeting 6 or 7 months after that, where
now, let me stop you there.
I invited all the candidates.
We're talking with Misty Hampton Graham, activist from Patriots of Act 746. Because just to give a recap, you know, Act 746, it was a law passed back in 2015. Back in 2013, rather. It was amazing. It was, decriminalized gun possession, essentially giving us open carry, constitutional carry, concealed carry, whatever. There's been, two attorney general opinions, one terrible, the other, better, but still, not really what the law says. And so there's still people now, Misty, that don't really know about the rights that they do have, the decriminalized status of our gun law. So I just want to bring our listeners up to speed if they're just joining us. So pick up back with the story of how you got involved. You decided to go ask your sheriff what their policy was going to be on the new law.
Well, I showed him the law. The 746 says, carrying a weapon reads as follows. A person commits the offense of carrying a weapon if he or she possesses a handgun, knife, or club on or about his or her person in a vehicle occupied by him or her or otherwise readily available for use with a purpose to attempt to unlawfully employ the handgun, knife, or club as a weapon against the person. So if you have no intentions of committing a crime, then you're perfectly legal to carry that gun or that knife or that club or whatever. And it doesn't say anything about having a license to carry concealed. It doesn't say, it says on or about your person. It doesn't say that you have to have a license to carry concealed. It doesn't say that, anything, how you're carrying it. Well, so, the law is, to me, is crystal clear.
Yeah. I think it is. It is to me, too. I think it is to every prosecutor in the state of Arkansas that, keeps dropping these charges from these police officers that I guess they're uncomfortable with it, or they don't want to acknowledge it. It's a big deal. So what did your sheriff say at the time?
He was kind of almost like he was avoiding answering the question. Well, when I invited him to the meeting that we had, I think it was in January of 2016, that sounds right, he got to sit with these guys who's been doing this, since 2013. And he got to talk with these guys, and I think it finally clicked. He's like, yeah, this is right. This is crystal clear. So, he doesn't mess with anybody. I've never in this county ever heard of anybody getting harassed for open carrying or anything like that. And he learned a lot that day. I learned a lot that day. A lot of people learned a lot that day. We had a lot of law enforcement there. We actually had a state trooper there.
Yeah.
And
Arkansas State Police, that's that certainly has been an obstacle, when you look at the amount of
huge obstacle.
Yeah, and I really hate that it's become, or it was at least, or still is, adversarial in a lot of ways, because we're talking about a lot of money, and if people realize that they don't necessarily need a concealed carry permit, because that's the rub. Do you need a concealed carry permit to conceal carry? If you read that law, the answer is clearly no. That makes a lot of people uncomfortable. That's a lot of revenue that people go and a lot of classes that people take. But I just, I don't understand why the Arkansas State Police wouldn't change with the times, because they really could. All they'd have to say is, that may be the case, but if you want to travel to the beach, if you want to go to all these states, we still reciprocate with other states that aren't constitutional carry states. So it's still in your best interest to get one of these things if you want to protect your family while going out of the state of Arkansas. They could approach it from that standpoint, but they don't, and that's disappointing.
And, they actually tell you that it's about the money. They will actually tell you that it's no secret that's what it's all about, is the money.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's and so it's essentially like, hey, we would rather tax you to exercise your right than just admit that you have the right.
Right.
I mean, that's just incredible. So
pretty sad.
But so okay, so Patriots of Act 746. You guys are out there trying to educate, and you guys have made a lot of headway, though. I mean, there's a group of over 10,000 people, closed group on Facebook. So it is going good, and more people are starting to figure out. I mean, have there been jurisdictions since this thing started that, used to ignore the new law, and now they have come around to it?
Oh, I'm sure all of the members, or not all the members, but quite a few of the members are starting to question people in their jurisdiction. I know I've talked to the chief of police here, the sheriff here. We have 2 people running for sheriff this election term, and they're good with it. I mean, it's good for them. Mm-hmm. So these people are actually starting to contact these people, where we can't just go in every county and contact, like I can't just go contact every single sheriff, in every county and find out what they think about it. I mean, these people are doing it. Everybody's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard about
it's amazing. We actually...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying, have you heard about... I've got somebody on the Facebook Live video, Paul, writing in saying that Arizona has a non-resident permit available for out-of-state carry until the Arkansas State Police leadership support our right to carry. Stop sending them your hard-earned money. What do you know about this Arizona thing? I've heard about this before.
It's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. It's not like the Arkansas State Police where it funds their retirement fund or whatever it is that we're funding. It's not mandatory. They're not doing it for the money.
Mm-hmm. Man.
So, I mean, it's a whole lot cheaper, and it keeps your money out of the Arkansas State Police, whatever kind of scheme they're running here.
Misty, you're telling me that the money that people pay to be able to exercise their Second Amendment right goes to fund their retirement?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure,
but I just think if that's the direct source, man, that is such a perversion of the Constitution, if you think about it, because now we have people who are out there to protect us that now have an interest in seeing us disarmed.
Oh yeah, they want to regulate. Control. Gun control is all about control. Regulations are all about control. I mean, it's pretty pathetic if you actually think about it. That it's what is it, over $200 to get a concealed carry permit here?
Yeah, and then don't you have to pay for the background check? I mean, is it more than that? Because on the Facebook page we have Paul participating. He says that Arizona is a $60 license for 5 years. That's pretty cheap. That's very cheap.
Yep.
And, of course, Arizona's reciprocal with other states and things like that.
Right.
Were you pleased, though? I mean, were you pleased with John Payton? State Representative John Payton, he passed a law this last session that essentially reaffirmed Act 746. Are you familiar with that?
I didn't hear you. I'm driving. I didn't hear what you said.
No, it's fine. So, State Representative John Payton, he passed a law kind of reaffirming Act 746, saying that the Arkansas State Police could not change the rules and say, hey, look, if we catch you with if we catch you can open carrying with a concealed or open carrying and you have a concealed carry, we can take your concealed carry away. They seem to try to correct that this past session, and it did not get signed by the governor, but it went into law without his signature. So there is it's not just some fringe group, is what I'm trying to say. There are now being direct legislative remedies being put to use by some of the good guys to try to clarify to law enforcement, hey, you guys need to enforce the laws on the books.
Right. I mean, and they've actually said that, I know some concealed carry instructors have actually said this, that if you are open carrying and you have a concealed carry license, they will take it from you. And we've had people test that theory out, and they haven't taken it yet, and then they passed that law, and they can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. But it still doesn't, they still won't say that you don't have to have it.
Yeah. And that's just and that's what's a shame. They still will not just come out and admit it because I mean I don't know because of the money. I mean they might say, well, we don't want it to become the Wild Wild West, but I mean that's not going to happen. This has been This has been happening now since 2013, and it's been everything's been fine, and there's been more freedom. And do you agree with the statement? An armed society is a polite society, Misty?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, if you look at the statistics from cities like Chicago, places where guns are banned, I mean, everybody knows these. Chicago's gun laws are insane. I mean, basically you can't have one. And look at their crime rate as compared to, places that don't have those regulations. I mean, the crime rate is a lot lower in places that that realize that their citizens should be or can be armed, need to be armed.
Mm-hmm. Well, we certainly, Misty, I appreciate you coming on the program. I appreciate the work that Patriots of Act 746 is doing, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. And we didn't get a chance to cover this, but over at Conduit for Action right now, folks, there is a little bit of a controversy that's brewing between activists like yourself and myself that support Act 746 and the Arkansas Game and Fish. I mean, we talked about the Arkansas State Police, but if you want to, it's not just them. You also have the Arkansas Game and Fish, which is the most, they're the grand poobah of law enforcement that thinks they can do literally whatever they want to anyone at any time, at any moment, whether you're hunting or not. They are completely ignoring the Act 746 freedoms that we have, the Second Amendment freedoms. So that's over at Conduit for Action right now, specifically mentioning Game and Fish. Misty Hampton Graham of Patriots of Act 746, I appreciate you coming on.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Be safe. Folks, we do have to go to break. We're going to be back in just a moment. I may get